If you love animated content that breaks down book summaries and dives into fascinating topics, we'd love your support. Creating these videos takes a lot of time and effort, and by subscribing, you help us continue bringing you this valuable content consistently. Your support means the world to us. Hit that subscribe button and join us on this exciting journey. And now, let's continue with the video. Digital Minimalism. Chapter 1: Using Technology Intentionally. Technology is dominating more and more of our time and attention. Whether for work or for socializing, many of us spend hours glued to screens each day. And we find ourselves using apps like social media much more than we ever initially planned. This isn't an accident. Apps like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Netflix are purposefully designed to be addictive. These companies make money by capturing our attention. The more time we spend on their apps, the more money they make from advertising. But the time we spend on apps comes at a cost. We may use them to keep track of news or socialize, but they also waste time, disrupt sleep, and leave us lonely. In today's hyper-connected world, quitting social media and other digital tools completely is not easy, and it may not even be desirable. Cal Newport, a computer science professor and best-selling author, doesn't think we need to quit altogether, but that we do need to regain control. He has devised an approach to moderate technology use called Digital Minimalism. In Digital Minimalism, he teaches us how to be more strategic and intentional about our technology use. The internet is full of advice about how to cut down on screen time, quit social media, or do a technology cleanse. But Newport believes that many of these sources offer quick fixes that won't really stick or lead to long-term improvement. Instead, he believes that we each need a basic philosophy that guides our use of social media and other digital tools. How can we select and optimize our online activities? In the following chapters, we'll cover Newport's step-by-step strategy for identifying which tools benefit us, and learn how to use these tools to serve our own values and needs without using them excessively or compulsively. Newport believes this will make us more focused and productive and also free up time for other meaningful and enriching activities. We'll have more time for family, leisure activities, and cultivating real social connections. Chapter 2: Why Digital Minimalism Works. Newport explains that our default use of technology is maximalist, meaning we tend to automatically use it as much as possible. This is because it's easy to see the benefits of a new platform, sharing photos, communicating, keeping up with the news. So many of us excitedly adopt it. Then, it's easy to develop a habit, or even an addiction, because companies design their apps to consume our attention and time. By being intentional about how we use technology, we can break out of this maximalist pattern and form healthier habits. Newport outlines 3 principles of digital minimalism that make it successful at improving our relationship to technology. The first principle is that eliminating clutter makes our lives better. Each tool we adopt demands more of our time and attention and adds clutter to our digital lives. Ultimately, this clutter leaves us feeling overwhelmed. The overall negative effects of filling our lives with apps and social media will begin to outweigh the individual benefits of each tool. By practicing digital minimalism, we can reclaim our time and energy. Newport's second principle is that digital minimalism works because it favors optimizing our technology use rather than quitting it altogether. Optimizing our use of a particular tool means figuring out how to use it to achieve our own goals. That is, we often have to set rules that prevent us from using our apps mindlessly. For example, Facebook is designed to grab our attention and keep us engaged by showing us an endless news feed. One woman, Karina, needed to use Facebook for work, but got distracted every time she logged on. She always ended up wasting time on the app. To optimize her Facebook use for work, she unfriended everyone except the coworkers she needed to communicate with. Then, she unfollowed her coworkers so she wouldn't see their posts. This allowed Karina to use Facebook on her own terms. Similarly, Emma wanted to use Facebook to get updates to her student group, but didn't want to get distracted by her news feed. She created a bookmark so she could go directly to her group's page, instead of having to log onto Facebook and see other posts and notifications. Both Emma and Karina drastically cut down the time they spent on Facebook, while still getting the benefits they needed from it. The third principle of digital minimalism is intentionality is satisfying. Newport points to Amish communities, who are widely thought of as rejecting all technology. In reality, the Amish do use some technology, but only in specific, limited ways that they determine after carefully weighing the costs and benefits. Newport believes, though it may seem daunting, that making intentional choices about how we use technology will make us happy. Chapter 3: How to Practice Digital Minimalism. Digital Minimalism. Practicing digital minimalism requires changing our relationship to technology entirely. To start this process, Newport recommends taking a 30-day break from all non-essential technology use. This includes social media, text messaging, emailing, streaming, gaming, web browsing, and other digital use on computers and smartphones. Of course, to many of us, some technology use is essential. Maybe your job involves using social media platforms like Facebook to plan events or craft publicity posts. Maybe you need access to email for work or text messaging to communicate with your family. It's up to you to determine exactly what counts as essential use. The point of this break is to take a step back and evaluate what we truly get out of our technology use. Once we determine which technologies do more harm than good, we can take the first step towards creating better digital habits. During this 30-day break, formulate your own personal philosophy of technology use, taking into account the benefits and drawbacks of each tool. For example, Newport writes about a man who felt addicted to Instagram. He was using the program to look at other people's photos, constantly comparing his life to theirs, checking it compulsively, and spending lots of time scrolling. He realized that he was not benefiting from his overall use of Instagram. However, he was benefiting from certain features. As an artist, he loved looking at the accounts of other artists who inspired him, and he valued getting to post photos of his own art to keep a record of works in progress. So, he optimized his Instagram use. He decided to follow only a very small number of inspirational accounts and only post photos of his artwork. This way, he was using Instagram only in the ways that benefited him and avoiding its negative aspects. After the 30 days are up, you should have a better sense of what actually benefits you and how you would like to use technology. Then, you can reintroduce each digital tool into your life one by one, carefully taking note of your new strategies and their effects. Now, your technology use should align with your needs and values. Like the Instagram artist, you'll only use technology in ways that serve your needs and goals. The main ideas. Chapter 3. Use a 30-day technology cleanse to formulate your own approach to digital minimalism. Taking a break from unnecessary technology will help you evaluate the role of each digital tool in your life. After 30 days, you will be able to reintroduce apps and tools in ways that are specifically useful to you. Chapter 4: Using leisure time well. Digital minimalism. During your 30 days of avoiding non-essential technology, you may notice that you suddenly have a lot of free time. Newport believes that addressing the new gaps in your schedule will help you change your technology habits for good. Digital minimalism is not just about removing technology from our lives, it's also about replacing it with more meaningful things. Some of us spend so much time using social media and Netflix that we have dropped older hobbies or failed to develop hobbies to begin with. To successfully practice digital minimalism, we must relearn how to fill our downtime with meaningful activities. Newport believes that all humans need meaningful hobbies, activities outside of work, sleep, eating, and doing chores. Newport thinks especially highly of activities that fall under the umbrella of craft. He defines these as any activity where you apply skill to create something valuable. This can mean making something concrete, like building a piece of furniture, planting a garden, or knitting a sweater. It can also be intangible, playing music or a sport. Newport believes that these activities, which require skills and tools, tap into something that is essential about being human. This impulse to create is not often satisfied by mindlessly scrolling on computers or smartphones. In addition to filling our time with meaningful activities, we also need to relearn how to be bored, as well as more comfortable with silence and spending time alone. So many of us fill moments of downtime throughout the day by looking at our phones. Even while we're walking or traveling, we're often listening to music or a podcast rather than simply thinking and reflecting or observing our surroundings. Newport believes that rampant technology use creates a constant state of distraction that interferes with our ability to think clearly. And it also disrupts our ability to calibrate and process our emotions. He recommends combating this by taking long walks without technology, no phones, no headphones, just your own thoughts. He also recommends taking the time to form a journaling habit to record thoughts and feelings and develop ideas. Both of these habits can give us the opportunity to think more deeply and connect with ourselves without constant input from our screen. Chapter 5: Cultivating Real Social Connections. Digital minimalism. One of the biggest purported benefits of social media and other digital tools is social connection. Humans crave community. Newport explains how our brains are hardwired to think about and make social connections. For instance, neuroscience research shows that when we have downtime, our brains default to thinking about social information. That is, we see more brain activity in areas devoted to social planning and understanding other people's minds. This helps explain why we find social media so addictive. When we open an app like Facebook, we can instantly see life updates from friends and family and can communicate with them easily. This would seem to suggest that using social media fulfills our need for community and makes us feel happy and connected. However, studies have shown that relying on technology to socialize actually makes us feel more lonely. This is because, in chasing each virtual interaction, we spend more and more time online. Eventually, this digital social time begins to overtake time spent on real social interaction. We may interrupt real interactions to check our phone, for example. When we lose out on in-person interaction or interrupt it to check on social media, we wind up feeling more lonely and less fulfilled. It's tempting to chase the possibility of more digital connection, but we must limit it and prioritize fulfilling, non-digital social interactions. For example, Newport suggests cutting down on constant text messaging and carving out time for longer phone conversations instead. He also suggests that if you do want to use social media, not using the like, comment, or messaging functions. All of these functions make us feel as though we are interacting with many people, validating them and receiving validation from them. But ultimately, chasing the momentarily positive feeling from liking and receiving likes keeps us addicted and has a negative effect on our lives in aggregate. Chapter 6: Guarding Your Attention. Digital Minimalism. It's not an accident that digital tools like social media eat up so much of our attention. In fact, Newport explains that they're designed to do exactly that. Platforms like Facebook are actively built to draw as much of our attention as possible. They make a profit by reselling this attention to advertisers. Features like the red notification and the endless newsfeed draw us in again and again, activating the same parts of our brain that are stimulated by gambling. The addictive nature of social media makes it both incredibly difficult and incredibly important to resist. Newport offers several strategies for reducing our social media addictions. The first is to remove social media apps from our phones. Because phones are always with us, they offer ample opportunities throughout the day to check on our apps. Newport also recommends setting up blockers on the computer to restrict our use of distracting sites to specific times. Rather than putting up these walls occasionally, Newport recommends keeping them up by default. Carefully curating your social media feeds will also help you avoid spending too much time on them. Try to limit the number of people you follow so that you're only keeping up with close family and friends. And try not to add too many accounts that will draw you into your feed and make it a source of entertainment. Instead of becoming places to spend lots of time browsing, your social media feeds should provide only essential updates. If your feed is your primary source of news, try to sit down and read publications instead of clicking through social media headlines. Now, if you really want to take radical action, you may realize you don't need a smartphone at all. Consider whether a more basic phone could meet your needs without providing added distractions. Newport writes that digital minimalism is not really about technology, but is instead more about the quality of your life. Implementing it means evaluating what works for you individually. This means honestly evaluating the benefits you get from using digital tools selectively and what benefits you get from avoiding them. By answering these questions, we can craft our own unique approach to digital minimalism. The main ideas, Chapter 6. It's important to manage our social media use because it's designed to be addicting. It can be easy to spend more time on screens than we intend. By designing a new philosophy of technology use based on our own needs and values, we can take control of our digital habits. Hit that subscribe button and join us on this exciting journey.